Good morning, or good afternoon, or whoever hears this. I just had some guests leave a couple hours ago that got in here Monday night about 10 p.m. and they checked out today at 10 p.m. Friday morning. So they were here 3.5 days. And I probably spent a total of about 20 minutes with them between, my work and being out of the house and they're running around with friends and so forth. Works out pretty well, double occupancy, $50 a night. Sure, what the hell? I mean, this is really working out. Some of you might be aware of this. I placed a short-term rental situation for my basement. I figure, well, that's part of the house that I don't use. I'm just like never down there. And it's like a furnished apartment almost, minus the refrigerator, which, we share on the first floor if you need it. And, the kitchen. But I thought, hey, about a month or so ago, why don't I just put this plan into action? Just do something, man. Make it happen. And it's working out great. I got a lady coming in tomorrow for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Now, single occupancy is 40. Double occupancy, two people, is 50. And you go through a agency and you pay a small fee. And also, I'm protected that if anything is broken or missing, there's insurance too, But the people I've had so far have been outstanding. The couple that were here, Allison and John, they flew in from Tennessee to visit, I think, close friends or maybe family, extended family or something. But it was nice to have them. It was a good time. And, you get to meet some people, and hear about what's going on in other parts of the country or what brings them out, like, a father and son from Vegas up visiting where the father grew up in this area, or a retired couple coming through from northern Wisconsin. It just adds to my stories in my life by sharing short passages and periods of time with strangers, And I have no worry. I mean, I come and go. I know they're not going to terrorize Matthias or, rob me blind or anything like that. No. These are citizens. These are good people. But, I was doing some reflecting, and I think you guys know that I've been listening to a lot of Jim Croce lately, just kind of getting back to way back when. And, I was thinking about what would Jim think about today's world? And I don't think he'd be incredibly enamored with it, but I think he could, find, like we all do, find some good things about it. But it's certainly a different time from when he was around and what influenced him to write these songs that he did in such a short period of time, and that really changed the landscape of social music. But I think the point I'm going to try to get to here is how it kind of comes full circle with my observations growing up in the 70s and 80s and getting married and having a family in the 90s and early 2000s. And now next year we find ourselves in 2020. I mean, we're 1/5 the way through the 21st century already. All right? I mean, time is rolling. So, but I'm thinking, about today's standards with people and how we treat each other. And me, I'm just congenial. I'm hosting. I enjoy making people smile. I enjoy making people laugh. I enjoy people enjoying themselves. It's just kind of how I am. And it feels good to have that personality trait, It can be exhausting, but it's always sincere and genuine. And it comes from the heart. And, depending on how I'm treated or perceived from me just being me says a lot, I think, about the people that I encounter in life, and not every person that we meet is super special or awesome or amazing. And I hate that word, by the way, amazing. Apparently Stephen King hates that word too, the author, so we have something in common. But anyways, not to get sidetracked, I was thinking about Jim Croce, and I was thinking, a guy like him today would have absolutely no career at all. He at best would be, a street performer, because he doesn't fit the landscape of what we find attractive. I mean, Jim Croce he looked older than he was, he was industrial. A lot of people don't know this. He went to Villanova and got a 4-year degree. That's a really good school outside of Philadelphia. And he served a little time when he was called to go to Vietnam, and then got out a little later. But he comprised a lot in his 30 years of living. But I don't think in today's landscape that he would have had much of a career, because we put our priorities and our stock in image. Like, oh, what's the marketability of this person? We'll take looks over talent any day, which I think, in part that's why we have so little things going on in entertainment and music that really, to me, are inspiring, because it's just so prepackaged and gift wrapped. When you start seeing actors that look like other actors who are either dead or, no longer in the mainstream, they go out and they shop people who look like people who were once successful. It's like kind of like just going with what works. But I don't think someone like Jim Croce would have had a successful career, because he just doesn't fit the polished image that we so desperately want or need in our entertainers. And I think that's a shame, because not everybody who's talented is physically, externally beautiful, and or people that who have so much to give on the inside, which to me is what radiates everything. External appearances come and go, but it's the content of character. It's what's going on in your heart. It's what it's what you're bringing to the table. And I just don't think someone like him today would have much of a chance. And I kind of take a little from Jim, because I don't look like the social standards. I don't wear my hair like most men. I don't sound like most men. I don't think like most men or most people in general. And that can be a double-edged sword. In some ways that's a plus, and in other ways it can be a negative. And I think with people today being so non-committal and being deathly afraid of making any kind of promise or commitment, and keeping people at arm's length, it's kind of sad, and I think that's part of the reasons why I find myself alone, is because maybe when people meet me, they're just like, that's too much, or he's too good to be true, or there's just something up with that guy, or how would my friends or family think if I introduced him, with his appearance and his vibe and his humor and his witticisms and his extrovertness, how would that fare? And I think, again, it comes back to content of character. Or like Jim Croce, who gives a fuck what I say or how I look? It's how I present myself in life. And that goes for all of us, That to me is what's important. And I just hope we don't lose because we allow ourselves to live our lives letting technology and others dictate the decisions that we make. I really, really hope that we don't get to a point where we have totally abandoned what our heart tells us, what our gut tells us, that we still trust in each other and see the beauty and the talent of everyone. But sometimes, when you meet that special person, to allow yourself to say, I don't care what other people think. It seems like in the gay and lesbian world, we got that kind of down. It's like, okay, well, we're just taking you at face value. But I think the heterosexual people are losing that way of thinking, and I got so much more to say and blah, 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 blah. But I just wanted to get this out there that the basement is going well, and I'm meeting interesting people. It's fun. And hey, it's a great way to pick up some extra income. So for any of you people out there who have, a part of a house that you're not using and shit, rent it out, man. Make the money. What the hell else are you going to do with it, right? You have to go down there and clean cobwebs and say hello to it every now and then. Hello, basement. How have you been? Good. How are you? You antisocial homeowner. But anyways, hope everybody's having a good week. Coming into the weekend. It's Friday afternoon. You guys have a great weekend. And I will try to do the same. And like I said, I have someone coming in from Saturday to Tuesday, or leaving Wednesday. Should be interesting, And of course, I'm your congenial host with the most, Scott St. James. That's right. So I love you guys. You have a great weekend. Kept it under 10 minutes. Bye.